Live inside of the courthouse in Sanford, Florida. There is a sunshine law in Florida which allows people to have access to virtually every public proceeding, including court proceedings, so we will see this unfold live together. Zimmerman, we are told, will plead not guilty in this shooting death of unarmed teenager Trayvon Martin. And we expect Zimmerman's attorneys, his new attorney, to seek to have him released on bond. But in addition to the legal process, the political fallout from this case is still unfolding. Minutes ago, the White House press secretary took back-to-back questions on gun control related to this story. Joining me now to discuss that aspect of it, and there you see Angela Corey, the prosecutor, entering the courthouse. Joining me now, David Webb. He's the host of the David Webb Show on SiriusXM's Patriot Channel and co-founder of the Tea Party 365. And Sally Cohn, who is a Fox News contributor, among her many other contributions. Let's just stand by as we take a look for the first time at George Zimmerman entering the courtroom and his new lawyer there standing with him.
Give you credit for that. I also will say for the record that I just received here moments ago a 2-page affidavit signed by investigators Galbraith and Osteen to stand for probable cause for the filing of an information in this matter. So you want him to appear, do you not?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
He is present. I didn't recognize him next to you there. All right. Mr. Zimmerman,
yes, sir.
You're appearing here for your first appearance at this time for charge of murder in the second degree, and you are represented by Mr. O'Mara. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Remember your right to remain silent. All the other rights that he has told you about, you have to say nothing, and we'll go forward here on some procedural matters only at this time. After reviewing the short affidavit for probable cause, I do find that probable cause for the charge as put in the information. Now, seeing that there's an information that was filed as of yesterday at 4 p.m., all other matters at this point will be handled by the circuit court under the felony case number. That includes the any further motions, bond hearings, anything like that. Now we'll go forward. All I can tell you at this time is that you will be set for formal arraignment with Judge Rex Seidler on, or not before, but on May the 29th, 1:30, courtroom 1A. And Mr. O'Mara, of course, will be in for that. There's no need to appoint other counsel. I show that he has good and adequate counsel. He's well represented at this stage, and that date will hold. That is the right date, right, Madam Clerk? Let's get that straight. Yep. May 29th, 1:30 is his next official court date at this time. All other matters, therefore, will be taken up with the circuit court at the courthouse. Mr. O'Mara, agree?
I agree, Your Honor.
Very good. State, anything else?
No, sir. Thank you very much.
Upon that finding, this hearing at first appearances is concluded.
Thank you for the time, Your Honor, and consideration.
Y'all take your time, and I know you got to make arrangements for everybody, and then we'll get the rest of the group in there, and I will take a short break, okay?
Thank you. Well, you can see there a mostly procedural appearance at which the judge took care of just some housekeeping matters with respect to Mr. Zimmerman. Another hearing set for now May 29th with his new attorney, Mark O'Mara. You heard earlier this week about how his other attorneys had announced their relationship had ended. Now he has new counsel. He is represented by someone with, from all accounts, a solid reputation in the Florida legal system. But there are still a lot of questions around this case. Look, the trial's going to play out, and that man is entitled to a jury of his peers, and he's going to get it. And we can only hope at this point that the American people will stand behind whatever that verdict is, guilty or innocent. That's how the system works. But there's a question about the political fallout in this case, and for that we have Sally and David with us now. There is a question about whether there is some level of disappointment from the Reverend Al Sharpton, folks who had been making this into a larger issue, that charges came out, that he was charged with second-degree murder, because now they no longer have a narrative that the system is unbalanced or pitted in a way that's unfair.
And while they were doing this, by the way, the ginning up, the race baiting, and all the other issues that they did, the system was actually playing out to the point where we just reached on camera. That didn't happen in the last 24 hours. It was in process. It was being investigated, witness statements being evaluated. It's just that their goal was to take it into a political narrative, and we saw that play out by the CBC. They introduced a resolution which calls for the repeal of the controversial Stand Your Ground law, which Jennifer Carroll, the lieutenant governor, someone I know, has doing a full review of. She's an honest woman. She's a very good official. And they've gone into the political arena with Frederica Wilson, the Democrat from Florida, who took it to the floor of the House.
That's the woman with the crazy hat with the rhinestones on it that's been saying he was hunted down like a dog. With, that Trayvon Martin was hunted down like a dog with no evidence.
But I want to cite the CBC for a second. They say that unfounded assumptions and racial bias led to the use of deadly force. We don't know what led to the use of this force yet. This is how they're trying to coin the political narrative, Megyn.
Unfounded assumptions and racial bias led to the attack?
There are a lot
by members of Congress saying that?
There are a lot of assumptions that are running on both sides. So, look, first of all, I want to go back to
pundits. Maybe it's fine or maybe it's not. But is that okay to have our elected representatives telling us what happened in a case in which we don't know the answers?
I haven't read those statements, so I'm not going to comment on the context.
You've seen Frederica Wilson.
I haven't. Well, I know, and I don't like the hat. You're right about that. But look, let's go back.
But it's serious. It's serious. I'm going to let you say what you want to say. I'm going to let you say what you want to say. But I want you to speak to that point because that was very jarring to a lot of people to see her and other members of the Congressional Black Caucus or just lawmakers come out and tell us what happened. He was hunted down like a dog.
Yes, I know.
How do they know?
Look, I think you're right that on both sides it's inappropriate to rush to judgment here. And I don't think that Reverend Sharpton or Reverend Jesse Jackson or anyone is disappointed by this. And the most important person I think we can cite is Trayvon Martin's mother, who said, this is all we wanted, an arrest and a trial. We have to be very clear on all sides of this debate that justice is not an outcome. Justice is a process. The appropriate thing to have happened in this was a trial. Anyone looking at this, even without the benefit of the facts that the prosecutor had, should look and say, you yourself said it looked like he should be arrested and there should be a trial. Now, I want to disagree with David that we would not be at this point had there not been the public protests that led to this case getting public notoriety.
Right.
That's true.
Okay,
so Sharpton, I have to give it to him, had a point yesterday in which he said a decision appeared to have been made not to charge the case. That's when people got upset.
And let me say, I also think it's appropriate.
That doesn't mean he didn't make an issue out of it, and others didn't make a political issue out of it.
But let me also say that I think it's appropriate for the Congressional Black Caucus and activists to note that this is just one case, and there are many injustices like this that should be talked about.
We get to your question and the actual answer, not the spin. The fact is that it was mostly myself, conservative talk, and Americans who are fair on either side who said we want due process. It was the CBC that came out with this statement. This was put out by them deliberately to go into the narrative. Frederica Wilson, Bobby Rush with the hoodie on the floor of the Congress. Rosalind Brock from the NAACP calling for, how do we get it? Vote, vote, vote. This was taken into a political narrative by those people to support Obama's reelection campaign. Plain and simple.
We will see if the political fallout continues, in particular on the gun laws. But in the meantime, the justice system has it. It will play out as it's supposed to.
It should.
In a court of law. Thank you both.